morning, guys. As you can see, I'm in our small garden. And as you can also see, a lot of things have grown. I just want to take you around. It's an early morning. I gotta feed my geese some weeds. I want to show you some cool things that are starting to happen in here. My name is Kylie Gray, and we live in Central Oregon. We are a Zone 3. We have a very, very short growing season. This garden in particular, with all of its flowers, doesn't hit its peak until mid to late August. And when I say it hits its peak, I mean the sunflower alley is like full bloom. Lots of things are the berries are ripening, but the berries are starting to ripen. Today is August 1st. We have had, our weather has been low to mid 80s, pretty much low 80s until yesterday. It was upper 80s. Today's going to be 90, tomorrow's going to be mid 80s, and then we drop down to low 80s. And it looks like we have some rain coming in Thursday and Friday. Definitely Friday. Some thunderstorms, which we do live in fire country, so sometimes when thunderstorms roll through, that's not great, but as long as they have rain with them, it does help the situation. This morning is foggy, but we have been getting a ton of smoke. There's been several fires here in Oregon. There's one along the coast, the Flat Fire. There's one that was just a couple hours away from us called the Golden Fire, and I believe there's one, I think there's a few more around. But there's none super close, but we're still getting all the smoke from them, which it hasn't been too bad. The one downside is most of us here, a lot of the older homes, which we have, and some of the newer builds, we cool down so much at night because we are in the high desert. So we could be in the 90s or the hundreds. We could be in the 90s, but then we'll cool down to like 30s. And so, we have a frost in summer, so it does make it a little risky, but it makes for such enjoyable evenings, unless there's smoke. So typically a lot of people don't have air conditionings, and you open up your windows, sometimes you put a fan in, and just like it cools down. I can always tell if it's legit, like if we had a frost, because it'll be freezing inside my house, and I love that. Me and my husband both love sleeping very cold, which makes having no air conditioning a pain in the butt when you have smoke outside, because you can't really open your windows. I want to take you around this garden this early morning. Sun's starting to really come up and hit us. I had just told you I had chopped down this comfrey all the way, and my rhubarb, but my comfrey is already... My rhubarb is also coming back. The walking onions this morning, a lot of them are falling over. This is what they're doing. And this will go into the soil and make more onions. As the gardener, you can pull them off and dry them, move them where you want them. This raspberry bush, it's a thornless, and it's got tons of berries on it this year. My Parisian market carrots. I feel like I need to whisper, even though it's just... Oh, Miss Patty, our calf, is nursing over here. So this area, I have for years been trying to make it like this wild flower space. It's just kind of a corner, and there's a lot of weeds back here, but it's just, there's so many flowers growing up in it. The hollyhocks. But in this corner, there's so many hollyhocks. There's a ton of calendula. There's chamomile. There's violas. There's poppies. There's bachelor buttons. It's just a lovely little garden area. The orage or orc is doing quite well. My cabbages are doing decent. They're starting to get ate by some cabbage moths, which I have seen. As you can see, this one's the worst. Ordered some insect netting to put over these, and it's taking 20 years to get here. This year's currant bush, we have just been munching on these. They are so good. They're super tart. I don't think we're gonna have much to do with them because of the amount we've been eating. They're so good. But that's actually not my favorite thing in this garden right now to eat. We have a bazillion volunteer potatoes. I'm just loving their life. Look at this. All of these are volunteers. And if you go down here, all of these guys are volunteers as well. I think we're going to get quite a bit of potatoes out of here just from volunteers. We've been eating the ones that have volunteered in our high tunnel, and they are so good. And that is always fun to do. We have our main huge patch, which my plants aren't this big, but they're doing good. They're just a little small. I'm curious to see how well they're gonna do. Yeah, not quite sure. But these berries are coming along. They're gonna have lots of berries on this bush, and throughout, these berries have been slow. This is their 4th year. But these guys back here, these are, I don't remember what they are. They're either purple Brussels sprouts or purple cauliflower or purple cabbages. I had a tag because I got these starts from Azure, and yeah, not sure. Okay, this is a parsnip going to seed. The hummingbird, there's a hummingbird. That is a pig. These hummingbirds were just loving on it this week. That's calendula, which makes a great cut flower, but also is super medicinal and wonderful in teas. Borage, and it's super medicinal. And if you eat the flowers, they taste like cucumber. Oh, look at this guy. He's about to bloom. That'll probably be our first sunflower. This sunflower has so many. This is one plant right here. You can see it. And it's got crazy bushes. So it's making this pathway unpassable, which I don't like, but it is fine. This here is my gooseberry, and I've talked to you guys about this, and I've showed you guys about this. But the berries are ready. I watched this documentary on YouTube, and it was this guy who was the title of it, I'll see if I can find it and link it for you. The title was The War on Gooseberries and Currants in America, and it was super fascinating. And so if you eat like 5 currant berries, they have the equivalent, they have more vitamin C in them than a whole entire lemon, which is amazing. And they're currants and gooseberries are very popular in the UK, and they were when they first came to America as well. People brought them with them, and we had native ones here as well. When the Europeans first came here, they brought a lot of their own currants and gooseberries and planted them. And what ended up happening is they believe they were giving the pines a fungus, a disease, which the pines were a huge ag money-making crop, and so they took out all of them, so they're actually kind of rare. They're coming back, especially with homesteaders, but I do know that a lot of people aren't familiar with them. And my mom was just telling me a story because I was talking to her about the currants and my gooseberries getting ready, and she's like, when you were a little girl, when tiny, and we lived in Portland, Oregon, and you would toddle out there and just start eating these berries. And she said, I thought you were poisoning yourself because I had never seen this berry before. But they had a family member, a neighbor, was like, nope, don't worry, those are gooseberries. And I loved them as a little girl. And what I have found, they will turn like a blush pink when they're really ripe. Oh my gosh, there's like 700 on the ground over here. They're like falling onto the ground. That means we need to get out here. Look at all of those. This whole bush is like toppling over because it is very much loaded, and we've been snacking on them. These are turning blush. This one in particular. And they're gonna be firm, and the texture is like, I would compare it to like biting into a grape, and it like explodes into your mouth. But then once it's in your mouth, the inside is like the inside of a blueberry, if that makes any sense. Like the grittiness of a blueberry. It's sweet. And there are seeds, but they don't bother me at all. They're so good. I think I like them better than a blueberry myself. I would choose these over a blueberry. they hold their own when it comes to other berries. Like, I love raspberries, I love strawberries, but a gooseberry, these are good, guys. And I can grow them here, and I can grow them well. I had bought several plants this year. They came over from the valley, and I had put them in my greenhouse because it was too cold to plant outside. And I don't know if I killed them in there or not. I planted them out in my big garden. We'll see if they come back next year. They look not good now, but hopefully some life will come out of the roots this coming spring. But if not, I'm just going to propagate a ton of this and see if it works. I had propagated a ton of these sticks, and I have done it several ways, but this year I had just stuck sticks into the ground, and it was working. Now, a lot has grown up here since then. I had a lot of green on it, and I don't know if I can find any of them. This plant just needs to get massive, I guess. Take over this corner. These are such a treat and such a delight that keeps coming me into the garden every day, and I just keep munching on them. These I prefer much more over the currants, and they're way bigger, easier to harvest. This bush does have some thorns, so you gotta watch out for that, but they go a long way, and they're delicious, and I love them. So if you can grow gooseberries, get some gooseberries. We had our first poppy, and this will be our second one. She's a beaut. She is lost all her petals already. It was a single one, it was not a peony, and she just had, like, the innards were purple. We've had first poppies, our first sunflowers getting ready, calendula, gooseberries, currants, hollyhocks. She's just really coming into the fullness. The sunflowers are now taller than this fence. Well, some of them are. The tallest ones are getting wild. The garden is just becoming beautiful and just a jungle, and I love it. This one's taller than me. And it's getting ahead. I replanted in this bare area lettuce. I can see it starting to pop up, so that's good. I finally planted this trellis here with peas, and this trellis windmill with peas as well. So hopefully we'll get a fall crop of peas. There's Suki girl. She's waiting. I'm out here early, so I'm tricking them that it's lunch or breakfast time. It is not. And this poppy is getting close. We have a lot of close poppies. And the chamomile, I've been picking on this. The petals will go down at night. You can see there. They close at night and they open during the day. I swear every time I come in here, something else is new at this stage. It's just been such a delight. I'm excited for this raspberry harvest. I'm excited for these sunflowers to bloom. I'm excited for all, I just love coming out and up new, like yesterday I had one hollyhock in bloom, today I have two. And pretty soon that whole corner with all those hollyhocks is just gonna be in bloom. Hollyhocks are a biennial, so unless you get like special ones. So if they bloom one year, they're not going to bloom the next. You'll still have the plant, but it won't have any flowers. Get my boys out here and strip these berry bushes and go to town. Maybe we can make something with all these gooseberries because there's a lot. Alright, thanks again, and I will see you guys on my next video. This is exciting.